Yo, keep the faith, never lose hope. What's going on, faithfuls? We're live on all major platforms: YouTube, Twitter, and Twitch, and Facebook. All right. And if it's your first time here, please hit the like subscribe button and turn on all notifications. All right. All right. Now, I know I wanted to come on early, a little bit earlier, and I wanted to present the guys. The fellas been waiting. You know, we took a little hiatus for about a month or so because nothing's going on. Understandable. Nothing much going on. So we decided to take a little break. But we are back. Yes, we are back with the Red and Gold 24/7. All right, we are back. I'm very happy. All right. So basically, I know tonight we're probably just talking about of course, had on here already. Just kind of make sure where I'm at here real quick. Sorry about that. I know it's in here. Oh yeah, here it is. We are 1 week from training camp. What do we expect to see? So that's exactly basically what the show is going to be called. Of course, I know for a fact. Let me see here if I can do this right. And boom. All right. And of course, like I said, I told the fellas I'm going to bring you in with style since we're coming back. And of course, all the way from California. All right. Some shows that have them, some shows don't have them. We do. We have our own GM. All right. And I have to call him GM Mikey. All right. What up, GM Mikey?
What's going on? It's good to be back. And I promise everyone out there, we will not fall asleep on this show.
I'm sorry, I had a good crack at that one. I was thinking you would bring that up, but you did. Oh man, that was funny. Oh man, that I couldn't believe that when I saw that. I couldn't believe it. Oh my god.
Good times.
Jeez. My god, I only saw it once at the end. That's all I saw. So I know you're going to talk about it. I know you are. Just wait.
That might be my only thing. That little inside jab. People that know, they'll understand it, and the negative haters can go be haters, and
I got whatever. You. No problem. Yeah, I know you have a short night tonight, so you do some of the talking, most of the talking. That way you get it out of your chest. I know we're waiting for the fellas. I just want to start her up early, get all the plugs and stuff done. So basically, I got yours done. So I'm waiting for the other fellas to come on now. So basically, we are 1 week away from the grind. That's basically what I called it. 1 week from the grind, and I can't wait for it. Cannot wait.
This is the moment we've all been waiting for. The lull of the off season is officially over. We still got a couple house cleaning things to take care of, but hopefully, I'm hopeful that stuff happens this weekend.
Yeah. That's a Jimmy G situation. Of course, we're talking about Debo, and of course, we're talking about Bosa.
Bosa's not happening until next year. You can.
I know.
That's happening next year.
That's why I keep on saying to myself, I just share it to you guys, see what you guys' thoughts are on it, and I know it won't happen until next year. So
something will happen with Jimmy before Tuesday because he is bounded to show up at camp. He has to. He's still under contract. So whatever they do, release, trade, whatever happens, I think it's going to happen before Tuesday.
Yeah, it's all good, man. It's all good. I'm a patient man. Believe me, I am. I don't believe all that hype about, oh, this is going to happen. Oh, this is going to happen. No, I don't get excited until I see Matt Miyoko or somebody like that do something. That's when I get excited. Or if you guys see something before I do, hey, I'm more excited in the chat. Way excited about that. So yeah. So basically, we're going to touch up on the training camp. It's previewing the training camp 1 week. Just waiting for your fellas to come in. And I know we have about 2 minutes left until it's cursing time. If anybody wants to let it out. So yeah, man. It's just some crap's going on in that news. I'll tell you about of course, George Kittle. I know you want to wait till everybody comes in, but George Kittle about him being number one past Kelsey. I couldn't believe that shit myself. I couldn't believe that. Whew. Kittle being number one and Chelsea being number two.
For the tight end rankings?
Yeah, Okay. Now, coming from all the way from Phoenix, Arizona, and we do have a coach. And it, by the way, it's Coach Ron.
What up, gentlemen?
What's
up,
up?
brothers? What's up?
Yo, how's it going?
Not too
Nope.
sure. I don't know where exactly he's from. Forgive me about this one. But TJ.
Colorado.
Colorado,
What,
that's what it was. I figure you're a Denver Bronco. Around
Just
there
book me
Colorado.
like the Undertaker. I'm from parts unknown.
Parts unknown.
I got
Death
you, man. It's all
Valley.
good.
Oh, Death Valley,
Yeah,
yeah.
brother.
They say
It's all
Death
good,
Valley
brother.
for Undertaker.
all good,
Parts
bro.
unknown's warrior.
That's it.
Hey, Ron, about your background, the TV and all. Is that a game or is that a movie?
It's a movie.
I
It's
just-
a Western.
I just hope we won't get flagged for it. That's the only
It's
thing
a
I'm worried about.
background. That's what it is.
Okay. All right. I just want to get flagged for it. I know there's a reason why I don't let nothing play behind me. I never do it. So, but it's all good. Don't worry about it. I ain't worried about it. So, yeah, gentlemen, we're waiting for Money Mav to come in. And I was telling Mikey, 1 week, man, away from the grind. 1 week.
Less than a week.
Yep.
We are like 4 days, 5 days.
Yep. Mhm. Yes, sir. We are that way, man. You know. And of course, you can catch Coach Ron on his show. Hey, tell us about what's going on with your show there, Coach Ron. Anything
So
in
I'm
news?
actually going to transition into Spotify.
Okay.
So I'm going to reinvent it, and then I'm not going to relaunch it, but I'm going to set a day on when I'm going to do it again. So it's going to still be Mondays, but I'm going to do it on Spotify now. So stay tuned for that.
YouTube and Spotify?
I'll probably just keep it strictly Spotify and maybe Twitter.
Okay.
Yeah.
So I know when to change it if I had to change it. It's all good. It's all good, brother. All right. So I wanted you guys to let you know this news about his show. I know for a fact, don't know about Drewski because nobody hasn't heard from him. And I hope everything's okay with him. So,
Yeah.
But I'll shout him out. BISD Podcast, Drewski, that's his Twitter handle. It's still coming soon. I just hope he's okay though. All right.
Yeah, I got to get that guy a jersey. I own a Debo jersey. I'm serious. What's Debo's still got to resign, but
Just take the money you're getting from Q and
I was waiting for
Man,
that
I'm
one.
right.
buy Drew a jersey with it.
I'm probably not gonna be able to collect from that guy. That's gonna piss me
Right.
off.
We're gonna
I'll have my Brindell jersey when he's a third string replacement Pro Bowler this year.
You are so high on him. I hope you're right about him. I really do.
I don't know, man. I'm thinking
You know-
Go ahead, TJ.
No, go ahead, Ron. Sorry.
I said I'm actually thinking about an Ayuk jersey, but I'm kind of worried that he might not get paid. So by us,
that's why like I always think of you too, but I wait for guys to sign their long-term deals, so at least I know they'll be on the team for a while. So that's why I'm waiting for Debo. It's second now, so I'm going to be buying that jersey. And then I don't know. Are we going to pay 2 wide receivers?
I don't think so, dude. But then again, I'm like, well, I mean, he's an ASU guy, so like, why not just get it? And then when it does happen, I mean, we're 2 years away, right? So
He's up. No, he's up next year.
is he? Oh yeah, that's right.
He was
No,
the
he's
first-
2 years
he was
away.
the first round, so we can get the 5th round. Yeah,
Yep.
we could take the 5th round option. That's right.
So I mean, I'll have it. I mean, I told myself I wouldn't buy jerseys of guys who aren't going to stick around anymore, but I mean, it is Ayuk, so.
See, I do strictly throwbacks because I had a bad run there where every time I signed someone, they got traded or walked, and I just like strictly throwbacks for me. But it's hard now because there's so many of these guys that you really like Kittle. I mean, I want a Kittle jersey, and you think he's going to be around for the long haul, but Vernon Davis
Yeah.
got traded to the Broncos. That was one.
I think Kittle retires a Niner.
I hope.
Yeah, that's true. I think he does too.
That's a tough one, dude.
Like you look and you would think so, but then you think like, man, he's still pretty early in his career. Like, yeah, it's so hard in
I think
the
he loves
NFL.
them. I think he loves that team.
And yeah. I mean,
Well, like,
and he's a tight end too.
Warner would be a great one to have too. Just he's a beast.
Hey, number one on tight ends. Don't know if that was true or not, but he beat Kelsey.
Yeah, that's their opinion. I mean, a question can be made for both guys. They both play completely different games.
Yeah.
There's a lot that Kittle does that I know people bitch about fantasy and you're like, oh, Kittle sucks in fantasy. It's like I don't care about
don't draft him. Don't draft him then.
There's so much that he does that helps other guys score. It's ridiculous.
Yeah, he plays football, idiot. That's what he does. You know what I mean? Like he blocks and he's a tight end.
I had a buddy tell me last year that Kittle was washed up. Like, why? Because he's not getting you fantasy points. Get out of here.
See, I think it's really hard because everyone plays fantasy and everyone is so stats minded that it really blurs the line. And like, I think pound for pound, when you look at what a tight end does, complete package, I think that's where Kittle is the best tight end because, I mean, Kelsey can't block like him.
No.
But you look at what Kelsey's doing receiving number wise. So, like, my thing is, yeah, that's easy 1 and 2. And if you have Kelsey as your 1, then fair enough. I mean, it's hard to argue against Kelsey as your number 1.
Here's the thing, though, when it comes to receiving, now that Kittle's got Lance, I think he's going to be a better receiver than Kelsey.
Well, yeah, and, you know, I think what gets lost is you look how productive Kittle was the first half of the season, and then McGlinchey went down, and then he had to stay in, and not only in run blocking situations, but pass blocking. I mean, his numbers just dwarfed. But I still think there was some stubbornness from Shanahan. Like, how do you not use him more than what they did?
We talk about that all the time, the stubbornness of Shanahan.
Yeah, but I mean, at the same time, like Jimmy had limited vision, guys. You know what I mean? Like he didn't see a lot of it. So like the plays there, and like Kittle's routes can, you know, like when he hit him on them wheel routes, like those were like pretty visible. But like Jimmy had really limited vision. So the hope is that, you know, Trey Lance comes in and sees the entire field and feeds everybody.
It's going to be insane. I can't wait.
Ryan's going to have to give me a minute to talk about Jimmy tonight.
Shanahan is always going to scheme 1 or 2 guys open, like wide open. And Lance,
of course, GJ, of course.
Yes. I need a minute to talk Jimmy.
What do you say? No talking about Jimmy?
No, I need a minute of uninterrupted Jimmy time tonight.
Oh, I do have one question about Jimmy. How much stock do you guys take into this Atlanta rumor?
Real quick, guys, real quick. And coming from Florida, we got Money Man.
What up, Mav?
What going on, fellas?
What up?
Mav?
How you been, man?
I'm actually looking at some things right now on this whole Jimmy G scenario.
So
I'm hearing the Dolphins.
Right before
everybody's a suspect.
Wait, did you just say the Dolphins? You think the Dolphins are an option?
I thought the Dolphins.
Dude, that's what I just heard Chase Senior talk about. How about the Dolphins?
So I thought leading into the offseason, you know, with McDaniel there, that seemed like a pretty good destination. But they did pick up Bridgewater. And that's kind of what I think with like the Giants. Like they picked up Tyrod Taylor because I really thought the Giants were an option. Then I was looking at their roster and was like, oh crap, yeah, they picked up Tyrod. So I don't know. It definitely is limited for Jimmy. It really is.
My thing with Miami, because I was thinking that too when McDaniel's first went over. I'm like, oh, maybe they'll bring Jimmy with him. But I feel like McDaniel painted himself in a corner when they released that video of him calling Tua saying, you're my guy. It's my job to make you better. It's like that kind of painted him in that corner where he kind of has to use him this year or he looks like a fool. They should have never released that video.
Yeah. And it's tough because I
agree.
saw something, and I kind of ignored it because I don't think it was very serious, but they were talking about Jimmy going to New England. And I think it's the same as the Miami situation, and it's the same as the San Francisco situation, is if you have that young quarterback that you're trying to get behind and build the team around, you don't want that in the locker room, and you don't want them looking over your shoulder, the fans calling for them that first time you struggle. So that's where I have a hard time seeing those as destinations for Jimmy.
So how do you feel about
Yeah.
Atlanta?
I'm sorry, what was that, Mike?
How do you feel about Atlanta? Since it's people now that they're considering it.
Yeah, I could see where that has legs. I really can, because, not only has Mariota not really proven much in his time in the NFL, but he can't stay healthy. And then you got Ritter, so I don't really see him being that disruptive, like in some other situations if you were to bring in a Jimmy Garoppolo. And weren't you saying that there's a connection between
Yeah, it's
Jimmy and Ryan Pace?
Ryan Pace, I guess, is the one that's really pushing for it, and they got whatever school Jimmy went to out in Illinois. They have a connection with that school. So it's I guess
Northern Illinois, I think.
Yeah.
He's thought it
was
been Eastern Illinois.
Yeah, Eastern Illinois. There you go.
Eastern.
He's been the I guess the one in the front office that's really like pushing for it.
Is that where Roma went?
Yeah.
Like there's
Ryan Pace and Romo actually they overlapped like for a season out there.
And then isn't there a coach that came from Eastern Illinois too?
I don't know. Denise brings up a very good point. At this point, it's Yee. It's time for him to do his job as an agent and figure this out. Because regardless of what happens,
I said that in the text message earlier.
Yeah, we trade him or he gets released. Regardless, he needs a new deal. Because if we trade him, a team is not picking up that contract. It's going to be a new contract regardless. There's no way a team is picking up $25 million to have him play for a year. So Don Yee is going to be earning his money this weekend. That's for sure.
Let's be honest. No matter what we say about Jimmy, wherever he's $20 million quarterback, point blank.
He's a what?
A $20 million quarterback.
No, he's not. He's not going to get paid that. I think he gets paid 12 and 15 wherever he goes.
I think Jimmy's going to have to take a pay cut.
Oh, he's taking a pay cut for sure. I think he's going to get 15.
He don't have a choice. I think that's what the holdup is like what that pay cut is.
Yeah. Well, Jimmy, guess what? We overpaid you. We paid you too fast. You need to realize what your actual value is out there.
Yeah.
You want to play football, improve yourself?
And that's why I say he's a $20 million.
Who do you think would pay him $20 million?
And that's why I say he's worth it.
In his head, he thinks he's.
I mean, I don't know 20 mil. I mean, you gotta think about it. He's coming in what 20 something a year. I mean, we did it. We put Jimmy on that pedestal.
We did. I agree. Yeah, I think we did it too fast. I've always said it. We paid him after 5 games.
So I think with Jimmy, and we talked about this a little early, is I think that I really think, like, I know he had the arm, he had the injury issues and stuff, but I think if a team really wanted him for, 20, 25 million, they'd already have him by now. And I think any team that's going to bring him in isn't going to hand him the starting job. There's not a starting job out there for him. There's a come in and compete. There's I don't think anyone's going to give this guy the keys at this point in the offseason when you look at how these rosters are made up right now.
He had it. I think the Commanders were going to pay him. They were going to take him, and he said no. Because
I think
at the point where he could still be there.
That's the question we won't know until we know. It's like, what is Jimmy and his corner trying to do? Like, are they trying? I mean, ideally, you're trying to rush Jimmy onto a team so he's ready to go for training camp, and he's cleared, and that's done. And he passes his physical or whatever the case is. You're trying to get him onto a team, like Mike said, but we don't know. Like, he can also sit back and wait for someone to either get injured and go into a contending team. So we don't know. We won't know until we know.
I think that's the Niners strategy. I think they would hold on to him as long as possible before we have to cut him, before paying him, to see if there's that injury. But then you got Jimmy and his people. Their point of view is going to be like, we need to get Jimmy week 1 in camp so he can, if he's got to compete for a spot, he's got the chance to compete. The longer they wait to get him on a team, the less shot he's going to have at playing. So Jimmy's camp is trying to get him
Giants
released.
The Giants are making more and more sense the more I look at it.
I read somewhere that the Giants were going to give what's his name? Who's the quarterback there?
Jones.
They declined his 5th-year option.
I heard they want to give him like
They declined
7 weeks to prove himself. Like, they still want to kind of give him a shot and see how he goes until like the first couple games of the season.
Yeah. Well, when you think about the Tyrod signing too, I mean, I'm assuming that there's some crossover with Dable because Tyrod came from the Bills. I mean, I know he's bounced around in recent years, but when he was most productive was with the Bills too. I just think. Oh, go ahead, Mike.
I just looking at it, I think Atlanta might be the last shot to trade him. I think if they're willing to pull the trigger to get a veteran quarterback in there, I think they'll do it with him. But if they don't do it, I think he gets released and Seattle picks him up.
See, I think Houston, that might be a release and sign too. I mean, and that's just trying to find somewhere where he can reasonably compete. I mean, I think Jimmy's a good quarterback, but man, I mean, there's just not much there. A lot of these quarterback situations, now that it's after the draft, they drafted somebody, they brought in a vet. I mean, it's slim pickings out there for Jimmy. That they really botched it. They were trying to put San Francisco in a corner, and I think it backfired on them.
Yep, this whole surgery, when it happened, they had this grand scheme, and it really did backfire.
Yeah. I mean, San Francisco's going to be fine. They got their quarterback. Worst case scenario is they cut him and they don't get any compensation back. But what about Jimmy?
Exactly, because now you're trying to create a value for this guy. Regardless, you're going to have to make a new deal that he's going to get a pay cut. And most of these teams that reasonably might pick him up, he's going to compete. He's not going to walk on the field and be QB1. Unless if Seattle picks him up, he's QB1 because Seattle's got trash right now, complete trash.
Yeah, there's teams. I mean, there's teams out there, and there's a dark horse team out there that we don't know of yet, who are just sitting around waiting like vultures.
I think Atlanta is coming out to be that dark horse that we weren't really thinking about.
Yeah, I mean, they're not married to Mariota. He doesn't have a big contract, and they can bring Jimmy in. Rework his deal out, and then see what they do for the future. So why wouldn't they be in it? They're just probably waiting for him to get either ask for his release or just give him a 6th round.
Yeah, I think best we can get at this point is a conditional 5th rounder. So I'm thinking like Ron, Atlanta ponies up a 6th. If he plays X amount of snaps this season, it bumps up to a 5th. Like, I don't think we're getting any more than that.
The reason I think we could possibly get a 4th, because Mayfield, he got a conditional 5th, but there was a lot of money attached to him. Like, they had to figure that out. 2 different teams are paying. He took a pay cut. With Jimmy, all they got to do is a restructure. So I think maybe we can get a 4th for him and then let Yee go do the restructure, sign him for 2 years, $15 million a year. There you go. Let's get this done.
So
So I'm
Guys,
sorry, but I think that's part of real quickly though. I think that's part of the equation that we don't know yet. Like, what is Jimmy thinking? Like, we know what the 49ers are trying to do. They've obviously acknowledged that they couldn't get anything done, so they said, "Go ahead, seek a release." But I don't know what Jimmy wants to do. Like, what situation does he want to be in? Like, does he want to go to a bad team who's now and compete, or does he want to really try to rehab, get right, and if something happens later on into the season, he's out there and ready to go, like he did with us. So I guess, like I said, we won't know until we know.
I honestly think he wants to go to the best position that makes him look good. He's got this chip on his shoulder because everyone says you're the reason we haven't won the big one. You've cost us games. You've done this. You've done that. It's Shanahan's system that makes you look better than you are. So I really think he wants to go to a team that kind of has a chance so he can kind of go out there and prove himself. Like Texans, I think is a bad spot because he's going to look like trash out there. And it's going to be like, see, we told you it was Shanahan's system. That's going to do nothing for his career. He's going to want to be put in a spot that he has a shot to get another contract and still have some longevity in this league. Because if he goes out there and flounders and starts being a journeyman, he's going to be in broadcasting in 3 years.
Yeah, that's why I'm leaning towards thinking that, like, that's why they're trying to drag this out, because that's ideally that benefits Jimmy Moore, is like he gets to choose what situation he's in. Because yeah, you're right. If Jimmy goes on to, like, let's say the Giants, he has no support really, and he flops, that could be the end of his career. So where he goes next is really important for him. And
100%.
Atlanta has okay weapons. They have weapons over there that he can work with. They have a terrible defense, but that can get him another contract somewhere else. So I kind of think Jimmy has a little bit of leverage here. And that's why he did what he did with the surgery, and he may just come out and ask for his release. We don't know yet,
I think we'll know this weekend because Jimmy's camp's going to want him on a team by camp next week. So I think if we don't get some kind of trade talk tomorrow with Atlanta, I think by like tomorrow night, Saturday morning, we get the word from his camp that we're requesting a release, so we can go do what's best for our client. And they're going to flat out say there's no trade opportunities. We've exhausted all options. No one wants to trade. Let's just release the guy so we can go do what we got to do.
Yeah, and just from watching Jimmy play the last however long he's been on the team, 5 years now, like, where he goes does matter based off his skill set. Like, do we want Jimmy on a team that throws 50 times a game? Probably not. So there's a lot to consider if you're Jimmy, and I mean, I think that's where we're at right now. So,
do you actually believe that he was actually thrown the last 2 weeks?
Oh yeah, I think that he's been throwing for a few weeks now, but the whole thing that's questionable is the report that came out that's saying he should be fully cleared by mid-August, and then it came out today or yesterday. It came out that now he's like ready to practice. Like, what report's right? Like, it's all kind of schemy
and who's putting it out? Like, one day it's like, yeah, no, he's been,
Yeah.
he's not, he's been throwing, no, he's not ready to throw yet. And then the very next day, it's like a counter to that report from someone else saying, no, he's been throwing, he's cleared and ready to go. Like, so it makes you wonder.
Yeah. But the funny thing about the reporting too is how it was reported that we've given him permission to go seek a trade. We did that back in May. That was being a re-report, but then the agents were thrown into the report. Like, it's just like they're trying to stir it up into the media cycle again. Like, we gave them permission to go seek a trade a long time ago. That wasn't done yesterday.
So, who overplayed their hands? Was it John Lynch or was it Jimmy? Let's say Jimmy's team.
I think it was Jimmy's team.
Team Jimmy.
Yeah, I think John Yee had this big schemed plan in his head with the surgery, and I think it backfired because he thought, okay, we're going to screw the trade for us, but in reality, he kind of tanked the market for his own client.
I don't know, man. I won't know until, like, we know where Jimmy ends up, really, because, like, right now, again, we're still wondering, like, what does Jimmy really want? Like, because then Jimmy may end up in a good spot, and he comes back, and let's say he beats us or something crazy happens. I don't even know if I can answer that yet until, like, we know where he goes. But that's a great question, though.
Yeah, it is.
See, I can't help but feel like Jimmy's team overplayed it, because, I mean, you can't tell me that this is where they wanted to be, where, you know, maybe you have the surgery right away. I mean, you could have wound up in Indy, you could have wound up in Pittsburgh, Carolina. I mean, now we're looking at these teams and we're really trying to fit the puzzle piece in the puzzle. Like, well, I don't know about New York. They got Jones, they got Taylor, Houston, they got, yeah. It seems like Jimmy's team, if they could have a mulligan, they probably would have got a surgery right away.
I think if they would have done the surgery right away and they didn't do what they did before all the Watson stuff went down and that carousel took effect, I think Indy would have made a play for Jimmy.
I thought that was the perfect spot for Jimmy. And if you're Jimmy, how do you not want that?
Exactly.
That's basically San Francisco in Indiana. You know, great defense, great running back.
I think his team probably looked at that situation and were just like, damn, we messed up. I think if he would have been completely fine when that whole thing was going on, I think they would have made their play and he would have been in Indy.
So do we? I mean, like, it takes two to tangle. So, like, we're assuming that Indy wanted Jimmy, and these teams wanted Jimmy.
I think so. The schemes that they do, their run game, it would have been a perfect fit. He's younger than Matt Ryan. He's got more longevity still in this league. Like, I think it would have been perfect if he could have thrown a football. I think they would have gone after him.
Yeah, I think they just there would have been, to me, it's like a game of musical chairs, and damn near all the chairs are filled right now. Where, you know, if we're doing this in April and May, you know, you look at what 46 million that Kyler got. I mean, Jimmy coming in with Super Bowl experience, NFC Championship experience, that contract doesn't look too shabby. You may have had a team more willing to take on that and give something up, but I mean, they both bear responsibility, because if John Lynch really had the second round pick, like he said, I'm sure that was just hyperbolic. But I mean, the second that you saw Matt Ryan go for, what was that, a fifth or fourth to Indy? I mean, it was game over. It was like, we're not going to get a good return for Jimmy.
I think they may have had that second round pick, but it was from the Commanders. Because what did they give up to get Wentz?
Mm-hmm.
But
they gave up.
So what happened with the Commanders then? So the Commanders were out of the question.
I think the Commanders was a full-on veto from Jimmy. He knew he didn't want to go that fire.
So that's what I'm saying. It seems like Jimmy's dictating what's happening here.
It is. That's why I say it's his team that kind of put him in this situation. Because we've always been kind of like what we're going to do. We're like, we're going to hold on to him. We're going to wait for this. We're going to wait for that. And we really haven't changed our story. It's been Jimmy's team that I think's been holding a lot of this stuff up.
Yeah, because if Jimmy wanted to, he could have been a Commander. He could have been a Colt.
Yeah.
Like, why isn't he? Why come out and put that surgery? And, you know, like, even like, let's just go back to the season. Like, even like some of the reporting on his injuries were always just questionable. And I know why. We already know why. We've already had this conversation. Yeah. But like, when you ask that question, you're like, I don't know. Is Jimmy losing? Really? Like, we don't know that yet.
We'll see. We'll see what contract he gets. We'll see what team he lands on, and we'll see what kind of season he has. But
yeah,
can I touch on that Kyler Murray contract really quick?
Yeah, let's talk.
I was gonna bring it up. Don't worry, I was gonna bring it up for you, Mike.
That is such a ridiculous deal for this guy.
Ridiculous. It is.
He literally demanded money. You guys the Cardinals were standing strong, saying you're not gonna like hold us hostage. This man, he's not a locker room leader. Yes, he's athletic. I will give him that. He's got the athleticism, but he does not have the mentality to be a locker room leader in this league. And I think the Cardinals are going to regret it when they have another crap season. Their season might be reversed this year because without Hopkins, they're going to start off slow.
Yeah.
And then for him in that playoff game, it just pissed me off that this guy supposed to be the leader. He refused to go back to that game. Like, this is the man that you now made the second highest paid person in this league.
And he's not Russell Wilson. You know, I still worry about these smaller quarterbacks. And Russell Wilson's, I would assume, is a lot bigger than Kyler because Kyler just looks tiny out there.
Kyler is tiny.
But he doesn't, like you said, he doesn't have the leadership of a Russell Wilson. And, you know, shit, he's not as big as Lamar Jackson. And I'm not the biggest Lamar Jackson fan because I'm just not a fan of running your quarterback that much. But, I mean, Lamar Jackson can hold up, and he is faster and bigger than Kyler. I don't know why you would pay this guy that much money.
It's gonna. They should have waited. They should have let him prove that you can be that leader. Like his teammates.
But kudos.
Oh my God.
You're playing the division with them. Good. Let them have this millstone.
I saw an awesome tweet today where someone said Kyler Murray will finally be 6'2" when he stands on that stack of cash that he got.
True.
And good for Kyler. Get that bag.
Yeah, good for him. He got the money, but I think it's the dumbest decision on the Cardinals. They tanked their franchise for the next.
Oh no, well they're all in because I mean they just signed extended Kingsbury too for like 6 years. So
yeah,
I mean,
they're
all in on this air raid.
He's another joke. You start off hot and then you can't do anything the second half of the season. Like, what is this management doing? I mean, good for us because we get to destroy them in the division for years to come. But I mean, come on, make smarter choices.
And I've talked to you guys about last year and even going into this year. I just don't like the makeup of this Cardinals team. Like if I was a Cardinals fan or the Niners were building their team the way the Cardinals are, I wouldn't like it. You know, they got a bunch of older guys in there that have lost this step. Like I don't see it. I think they're building it. It's very short-sighted the way they're building this team.
Yeah, I mean, like they've been doing that for years. Like for a while there, they were like the Steelers of the West. Like they were just picking the old, guys out there for like 1-year deals. And to me, like the Cardinals really invest in like interesting positions, where I'm like, why? So yeah, no, I agree with you, TJ. Like Kimes is the GM here, and I'm surprised he's lasted that long. And then he had that DUI, not to bring up any personal shit, but I mean, like sometimes you gotta wonder, like they always start off like, and it seems like before even Kyler was there, it was like the Cardinals are off to 5. Holy shit, the Cardinals are 5-0. They're 6-0, and then for whatever reason they just fall apart the second, after the bye week. It's like
that's Kingsbury. He did it in college too.
Even before him.
I'm telling you right now, within 2 years, I bet Kingsbury's fired, GM's fired, and Murray's looking for a trade.
Damn. Yeah, Mike is going to drop.
I'm trying to think back to Kingsbury. Like, didn't he get shit canned from Texas Tech, and then he got like he was going to be the offensive coordinator for USC, and then he bailed on that to go to the like. He's just one of those that it never made sense. It's like you have a head coach with a losing record in college, and he's interviewing and accepting coaching jobs and offensive coordinator jobs in college, and you're gonna hand him the keys to the castle with your franchise.
Dude, the guy had Patrick Mahomes. Andy Reid came in there and was like, "Excuse me, you don't know what you're doing with him. I'll take him. Thank you."
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
It really shocked me that they extended him last year. That was a shock.
I think it's just a poverty franchise doing poverty things. Yeah. They got a hint of success, and okay, like who cares that we fell apart at the end of the season? Like
2 seasons in a row.
Boy, haven't we got a glimpse of that this offseason, fellas? Like, is it this offseason that's just stood out even more, like who the poverty franchises are? It's just glaring. The Browns. It's like, wow, these organizations are just a mess. A mess.
They don't know what they're doing. It's from the top down. It makes you appreciate what we have. Like our office top to bottom. Like we have a plan. It's working, and we know what we're doing. Like I know we get frustrated. Look how it's worked out. Like look
Talk
at
your shit, Mikey. Talk your shit.
the
Talk your
depth
shit,
we
man.
have on this team right now is insane. Like there's going to be some good players that aren't going to make this team.
100%.
Yep.
Yeah, it's going down, man. It's going down, guys. It is.
Like I've been saying it. Like this season, it feels special. Like this is it. We're all going to be going to a parade in
oh
February.
man, if it
Telling
happens,
telling you, I don't want to count the chickens for the eggs hatch, but come on,
Ryan,
it feels special.
what's up?
can you put up that comment real quick from my guy Ty? By the way, Ty, I appreciate you watching, brother. He's my Twitter
Which
friend.
comment are you talking about? Which one?
The one about Jimmy. I wanted to respond to that real quick.
Jimmy, this one right here.
He said before the new league year, Jimmy's team control things with no trade clause. Look, here's my thing. The 49ers cannot control things if Jimmy doesn't have a market. They just can't. The other thing is, how are we going to try to sell Jimmy to these teams if we're not even sold on Jimmy ourselves? Like, we're all watching the same fucking game here, right?
Mm-hmm.
So that's my only answer to that. It's like, I really don't believe the 49ers are dictating the way things are going right now, because you're underestimating that there isn't a market for Jimmy. We're assuming there is. We don't know because of the surgery. Like, and I honestly think everybody sees him the same way we do. He's not worth what they're asking for. So
Yeah,
I just wanted to respond to that, but I appreciate you, Ty. I could be wrong, guys. That's just my opinion.
Thanks, Ty.
We'll know when we know.
Yeah.
It's gonna be very interesting to see how he does on the team that he lands on.
Yeah.
I will be watching that very closely.
Yep. And I think TJ wanted to say some talk about Jimmy, he said.
Okay.
I want to hear it. I've been waiting.
So I'm going to stand for Jimmy here a little bit, because there's this Jimmy discourse that's going on Twitter that's insane right now. And I like to think that I'm pretty grounded and measured and kind of can call things kind of the way they are. So I just want to say that I appreciate everything Jimmy's done for San Francisco. When you think back to where we were before he came, I mean, we were in the dumpster. So I don't think you would think that with some of what you've seen on Twitter about Jimmy, like, you know, basically like, fuck Jimmy, you know, like he's done something wrong to this franchise, but truthfully, he's leaving this franchise better than it was when he got here. And so, you know, I just want to say that I think we should look back at Jimmy's tenure with San Francisco fondly. He was incredibly frustrating, and I think, you know, we've seen the limitations over the years with Jimmy, and we've seen how far he can take us, and what he did last year is as far as he can take us. So, you know, it's just time to move on. That, you know,
Well spoken. Well spoken.
I 100%. Like, I'm not a Jimmy hater. I always stand behind whoever our quarterback is. And like you said, he took us out of some dark times. He made the team relevant again. I do feel we paid him too soon. We should have let him prove himself a little more. But frustrating is the best way to talk about him. Yeah, I've always said that he's the firefighter and the arson at the same time. Like, the quarterbacks will have good games. Quarterbacks will have bad games. He'll be the only one to have a good and bad game in the same game. Like, he'll have two completely different halves. Like, he'll just stink it up, and then he comes out there and has a phenomenal second half and kind of pulls it out. Like, there's just inconsistent. Is another good word for him. He doesn't have the consistency, but I agree. Like, he did good things for this team, but I think he proved really fast that he wasn't going to be the franchise quarterback that we were looking for.
He's that closing pitcher that loads the bases before getting that final out.
Exactly. So I appreciate what Jimmy did for us. I have a Jimmy jersey. I'm not ashamed to have it. And I wish him all the best. I hope he finds success on another team and has a good career because he did good things with us, and that's always gonna be part of our history. He took us to a Super Bowl. He took us to an NFC Championship. I mean, he just couldn't get it done. It sucks, but it is what it is, and I truly believe that Lance is that franchise quarterback we're looking for, and I'm looking forward to the future and hoping we can get there now. I think we finally have that missing puzzle piece that we've been clamoring for, and when this team's firing all cylinders, like I think it's going to be this season, we're going to have one of the top defenses and one of the top offenses. It's going to be something special.
So you're saying Trey's going to be better than Joe Montana, then, huh, Mike?
Wow.
Oh wow! I didn't say that, and since you brought that up, there's a little dispute going on out there. The guy that did, there's someone claimed that this man said that, and he didn't. I've seen that little beef go back and forth, and all the guy said was that he has a ceiling and there's potential, but he never said this. He never said Trey's gonna be better than Montana, and that was all BS. But the person that wants to bully other people for not having difference of opinions, he knows who he is, and he's starting to get shit out there. So, and he falls asleep on podcasts.
Yeah.
Wow.
There's so much. That's why I wanted to talk about Jimmy a little bit, because it's like there's so much toxic out there. There's so much toxicity. It's like we're all rooting for the same team, right?
That's what I don't get. It's just like just be supportive of who's on a team. Like, you may not like Jimmy, but he did stuff for us. Just go with it. He's now going to be gone, and we got a future to look forward to, and let's move on. Just always support who's on this team. Like, I don't get why this fan base can be so like divided and has to hate on players. Like, hey, we're all rooting for the same team here.
And the fact of the matter is, Jimmy's a good quarterback. He's limited.
Yeah,
but he's a good quarterback.
He's limited. I put him in the middle, not top 10, but he's also not bottom 10.
Yeah, he's probably in the 20s somewhere. 20 to 18, if he's in the right system, like he's a perfectly serviceable quarterback, but I'd rather have him than Wentz.
Oh yeah, no, I think Wentz is complete trash.
Jimmy and the thing about Jimmy too is that he has really a really limited sample size. Like, everybody talks about the wins and losses. That's a great record, but he's still under 1,500 passing attempts. So Jimmy's not done. I mean, like, Jimmy for sure can still go to another squad and be, let's just say he was in the wrong situation. Who knows? We all knows what his flaws were in Kyle's offense, but we don't know what he can look like in like someone else's offense. So yeah, I'm with you, TJ. Like, don't get me wrong, dude. Jimmy has frustrated the hell out of me. I'm guilty. I've talked my ish about Jimmy, but when I look at like the tunnel entrances and I'm looking back at the highlights on YouTube of last season, you can't help but hate the dude. You can't. I mean, I'm sorry, you can't hate the guy. I mean, like, so, and then it's almost like, dang, it's really the end of Jimmy as a 49er. Like, wow, this is it. Like, it's really happening.
And the team loved him. Like, that locker room would do anything for him. Like, they played for him. They supported him. And
I had no idea he had the locker room like that until last year.
Yeah, like
no idea.
It's kind of insane, like the support he has, and it's like he commands a locker room. He's got the intangibles that teams are looking for. Like, he's got that leadership. He can lead. It's just the limitations are kind of what his downfall with our team was. But I mean, I'll always be appreciative of what he did. It's time to move on. But yeah.
Good deal. Hey, is Mav coming back, or?
Yeah,
he got another big storm over there. He said it was raining the other day.
But on that note,
he's in his internet right now. So
all right, Mike.
Yeah, Mike. I know you got me.
See you, Mikey.
Yeah, next week. I'll see you guys next week.
All right, see you next week,
all right, brother.
See you, Mikey.
Right.
Be good.
Yeah, I knew he texted me earlier and said something came up. you do for show for a half hour. So that's why I came on early for it. He came on with me. So
Yeah. And we've talked about that contract a little with Jimmy. Man, that was such an impossible situation for San Francisco. Like that was really tough because he's young, inexperienced, still is, he spent 5 years here. And like, I think Ty put the comment that he only completed his third season of play. I mean, that's a tough situation. You give up a second rounder for that guy. He's young. You think you might have something there. That was an impossible situation on what to do with him contract wise.
Yeah, the other thing you want to think about too is like Kyle's new, John's new. They're trying to make the 49ers a sexy destination for free agents. They need a quarterback. There's a lot to think about when they sign that contract. So I mean, it's really easy to look back and be like, yeah, we overpaid, but did they get their money's worth? I think they got more. I mean, that was like one of the best second round trades ever, if not probably the best second round swap that you can think of. So yeah, I think they got their bang for their buck.
And when you think about it,
Money, Mav.
What's up, Mav?
Welcome back.
Let's try this again, man.
Sound good now. You sound good now.
When you think about Jimmy's tenure, we're
I'm sorry, I was
one
gonna tell
throw
Ron, yes,
away
it's always
from
some damn bad weather. I've been watching the whole YouTube.
Gotcha, man. It's all good, brother.
When we think about Jimmy's tenure, we're one throw away from a completely different conversation. Like, if he completes that throw and we win that Super Bowl, I mean, what kind of conversations are we having? I mean, that was a franchise altering moment. Like, do we trade for Trey? Jimmy's got a Super Bowl and NFC Championship appearance. Yes, he's limited, but he's our Super Bowl winning quarterback. I mean, it's amazing. Like, when you look back, I mean, heck, what if he would have won this year? I think if we would have won this year, playing our game and even with his limitations, I mean, there's no way you don't bring him back and trot him out for another year and one more year of experience for Trey. Like, he's so interesting. Like, it's going to be really interesting looking back at Jimmy's tenure as more time goes on.
Yeah, I think like besides the obvious like touchdown to interception ratio that fans were frustrated about and like the on the field stuff, there's a whole lot of positive about Jimmy G. But let's just be real. I think a lot of like what rubbed the fans the wrong way and why you see a lot of hostility towards Jimmy is like the blame in the press conferences, and a lot of fans started to get the feel for like Jimmy being more about the brand. And then I think a lot of that blame game, like not ever taking, like accountability for like what was going wrong. So I think that's where you started to see a lot of hostility towards him. But for you as a fan to be like that hateful, I mean, it's really not that serious. So I mean, there's a lot of good to talk about, but like, let's just be real. I think like when that started to come out, like a lot of fans started to have an issue with that. So I don't know. I don't know if you see it a different way, TJ, but I think that's what I took from it.
Oh yeah, no, and quarterback is really a tough position because we all like to see the guys that are first one in, last one out. You never heard anything about Jimmy really being lazy, but he just didn't seem from the outside to really have that mentality like a Brady or a Manning or a Russell Wilson. Like, and we don't know. We only see so much. He could have been in there all the time, but it just never – there was just something about him. I think there's just something about him that you really – it just – maybe this guy is like, there's something about him this isn't the right guy. And it's kind of hard to put your finger on it. And I'm really excited about Lance because you see him hosting players. Like, you didn't see that with Jimmy. Like, you just didn't see like, oh, Jimmy's got the whole receiving core, doing a training camp during the middle of the summer. You didn't see that kind of stuff, and you're already seeing that with Trey. So that's really exciting when you have somebody like that.
Yeah, and a lot of the visible stuff too, like when he like the turnovers, like the smirks and the laughing on the sidelines, and not really looking like he was taking things serious after he just threw a pick. And those are some of the things that like really bug people. And those are some of the things that fans actually could see like in the games. So I think that's a lot of where it came from. You know what I mean? So
yeah, it drove me nuts, man.
He's always
Every
freaking
time he came off
smiling.
that field and threw an interception, he always smiled and laughed about it.
and then
Always
last
smiling,
season,
like
yeah,
he
I
did
think
no wrong.
last season he was even worse. I think when they drafted Trey, it was just like, yeah, well, shit happens, things happen. Like, oh well, we just like that guy didn't run his route. Like he was almost like kind of pointing fingers, like, oh, who cares? Who cares? Like, I don't care. So I'm just like,
Now,
Even his presser too, when he
Oh.
said we're. No, it's we, just you, not just we. It's what drove me nuts more.
now,
Sorry, man. Go ahead,
Mhm.
bud.
no, you good, you good. I overheard you guys talking about the whole situation about who did what, whose camp did what, whether it was Jimmy's or the 49ers. But here's my question here. Who was more pressured to get a deal like that going? I mean, did Yee just suddenly see the 5 wins and felt like Jimmy was the miracle kid for the Niners and pressured John Lynch into taking that deal, making that contract?
That's a good
Do you
one.
feel that way, or
That's a good question. That's a good one.
what was the question? I'm sorry.
who did you
Yeah,
feel
man.
was more pressured? Who did you feel have more pressure on them? I mean, well, I guess the question would be who pressured John Lynch the most to sign Jimmy to that massive deal after 5 games? Was it his agent Don Yee, or was it us, the fans?
I knew you were going with that one. I had a feeling you were going with that one.
Well, I
man,
mean,
Go on there. Yeah, Brian Kuchar. I'm sorry.
I think the pressure was on himself to like get a quarterback that was gonna like be appealing to free agents. And at the time, Jimmy Garoppolo was a big deal. So I don't know that he like really cares about what we thought, because I don't think anybody even saw it coming, right? Did anybody see
Okay,
that
but I
shit
mean,
coming?
nah, I didn't. But think about this. Put yourself in his shoes. You're the GM. You know you need a quarterback. Your team haven't been winning in about 3 years since you took over, right? Now you
Yeah.
need to make something happen. This guy comes in and he looks like he's the answer after 5 games. It's already pressured on you to make the right move. But as far as like signing that contract, we knew he was going to sign Jimmy after those 5 games. Let's be honest. But like, what possessed him to lock him in for that long, and now we're having this issue with trading him?
Yeah, and that I think that's kind of what I was trying to convey earlier. Was it was just an impossible situation when you think about it from San Francisco's perspective. You gave up the second round draft pick, you had success. He's young, he hasn't played much. I mean, how do you not make that move? I mean, imagine if we would have let him walk and after giving up a second rounder for him because we got into a contract squabble. Like, that was a really tough situation, I think, for the front office to have to deal with.
Yeah,
I mean,
like
I
to
get it.
Ty's point, I don't think there was any pressure, because like if you think about what they got and what they gave up, it was almost a no-brainer. They needed a QB, and exactly, Jimmy was the guy they thought. Well, originally the Kirk fell through, so they didn't get Kirk, and then they went to Jimmy. And that's how it went down. So yeah, I agree with Ty. I don't think there was any pressure besides the one they put on themselves to get a QB.
I'm trying to
I
remember.
mean, okay, I see. I was just gonna say, I see what Ty is talking about. I get that and I understand, but I mean, for me personally, it's the money part that bugs me. It's not even about the fact that we want him to. It's the bag he gave him too quick. that bugs me. That made me feel like it was like somebody put way much more pressure on John Lynch than he already had on himself. You know what I mean? Then, like, I mean, did Yi just talk his way into his ear, tell him this is what's gonna happen? This the man, let's go for it. Or we just that damn excited and we just showed him that we was there.
No, I think they had to do what they had to
But
do
I mean,
because if they waited any longer, it would have probably cost more. And there was other teams on the market who could have paid him more. So I remember that's exactly what the reasoning behind it was. Like, hey, like we got to get it done now before it costs more. Someone's going to pay him more.
Mm-hmm. And I mean, that's the thing in the NFL. I mean, we all know it. If you can nail down that franchise quarterback, so there's constantly big swings on quarterbacks in the NFL. I mean, you look back to Scott Mitchell and Rob Johnson and guys like that. I mean, hell, remember that contract that Mike Glennon got from, was it Tampa or Chicago?
Oh man.
I mean, there's always swings and misses when it comes to quarterbacks, just hoping you got something there. And like, you know, Ron's come back to it a couple times. I mean, can't really be too upset with a Super Bowl appearance in a NFC Championship game. I mean, we went
for what you gave up, and then I mean,
from
a contract
basement dwellers.
Yeah, but I mean, like I said, you know how these contracts go, like they just get bigger and bigger, and I think front offices know that. So that's why that's why sometimes I question like why they wait so long to sign, like they're like Kittle and Warner, because sometimes it just seems like it'll be cheaper sooner, but
or like
I don't
Debo.
know.
I mean, think how
Debo,
much
yeah.
that cost us.
So, but yeah, no, that's a good question. Like what I do always ask though is like, who is Jimmy's guy? Like, who's Trey's guy? Like, is it Kyle? Is it John? Like, how does that work out? Because I've been watching a lot of RG3 tape from his rookie year, and it seems like Trey, like I'm truly convinced he's a Shanahan guy. Like, what you saw with RG3 is what we should expect with Trey. He's just bigger, more athletic,
but better.
And better. And I mean, the plays, like even the personnel, Leonard Hankerson, he's not a big name receiver, had a good year. Alfred Morris had 1,600 yards that year. He was a rookie. And you just look at the blueprint and the makeup of that team. And you guys want to know who else was on that team? This is a 2012 Redskins team. Trent Williams was on that team. So
wow.
That's why I'm just like, back turn to the defense, play action, pistol. I'm like, this is what, if you want to get a look, a glimpse of how the Shanahans are going to use Trey Lance, throw on that RG3 tape. Sorry, that's
RG3 himself said he himself is a lot of quarterback run package designs and stuff. So I mean, I think we already see that with a mobile quarterback, right? We know that's coming. So I mean, yeah, I seen that clip with RG3, and he's hyped about Trey Lance because he understands the skill set, and he Shanny.
Who better than RG3? Yep. I think we lost Mav, but
yeah. So I talked about it.
Yeah.
I was gonna throw a curveball on this real quick.
Mm-hmm.
How much is Kyler Murray getting a year now?
40,
I didn't even look at the details. To be honest,
I think it's like 46 million a year is the average. It's
now
ridiculous.
Since we're bitching about Jimmy Garoppolo's, who is better at both of those?
Out of Kyler and Jimmy?
Yeah.
I got to go with Kyler. Easily.
Mm-hmm. I want to throw that curveball in there a little bit.
Yeah. No, I mean, I get what you're saying. Like, when you look at Jimmy's numbers, it's like, it's kind of hard because, like 6 months down the road, it would have just been more. and then he goes,
Yup.
so he gets more wins. It's just that check's going to get bigger. So you just got to look at the return.
See,
I got you. That's right. I figured I threw it.
if you're talking Kyler Murray's contract, I think the number one question that's gonna pop up is does that contract affect Lamar Jackson?
Yeah, you would think so. I mean, that would be a pretty good comp, if you're comparing playing styles.
Yeah,
I'd
you
rather have
always-
Lamar than Kyler,
Mhm.
apples to apples.
Yeah, but I think his contract affects Lamar, period. Or
Yeah,
Oh yeah,
Lamar
I think
more
any
towards
quarterback.
Watson.
always agents. Well, I mean, Mikey said that Lamar's agent was his mom. No knock on Mama, but as an agent, like professional agents, that absolutely is looked at. Like whose contract signed. Like some agents are just waiting. Like the Fred Warner deal was signed, and I forgot who else
I
signed.
thought
like,
she was just
an
his
hour
advisor.
later. I don't know.
Yeah,
what
no,
he is,
Lamar
but-
doesn't have an agent. Lamar.
Yeah, so it sets the market. Like, hey, no, like I'm better than that guy. You got to pay me more than that if that's what he's getting.
Who has a quicker release between Lamar and Kyler?
Oh, Kyler's got a sweet release. There's no question about it. He's got a beautiful throw.
Accuracy on both of them.
Oh yeah, Kyler.
Yeah.
I was shocked that Kyler is as successful as he is. I didn't see his game translating. I thought it was crazy when because it came pretty close to the draft that like, oh no, Kyler could go number 1. Like I thought it was crazy, but I mean he's been all right, and he's a pain in San Francisco's ass, that's for sure. I hate when we play the Cardinals. These running quarterbacks we struggle with that, man. That's why I'm so glad to have Russell Wilson out of the conference, out of our division.
Yeah, him and Mahomes. Kyler plays quarterback like a shortstop, bro. It's like,
Oh man, what a
You
good.
know?
Yeah, you're exactly right, Ron. That is.
Yep. He plays.
What
like
did
a
he?
shortstop.
Did he play shortstop in?
He played second base, and you can see
Second?
it. And that's why I'm so hyped about Trey, is just like that lateral movement, that pocket movement where he just extends. You saw how he hit Sherfield, even like the Debo throw against the Seahawks wasn't the best. It was on his back foot. It was terrible, but just the ability to extend like that and then see these routes develop.
Oh yeah.
And then a throw across the field, like bullets, where there's just really no defenders.
Can I, fellas? First, I want to apologize to everybody, man. I'm gonna have to cut out because my internet
All good,
is
man. It's all
really
good.
acting up over here.
It's all
All right,
good.
Mav.
So I'm gonna catch you guys and everybody next week. Y'all have a good night,
You
Hey,
too,
man.
man.
Be good.
and
Yeah,
don't talk
man.
too much, Jimmy.
Nah,
Stay
we
dry.
won't.
Let him, brother. Let her on, man.
What else we got, Ryan?
Okay. Since this one's about a week before training camp, I want to bring this one up. 1 week from training camp, what do you expect to see out of training camp, the first week? Because a week from it. So basically, I'm looking for at least what we expect about contract situations. We're not going to probably see nothing from Bosa. Maybe Debo, maybe Jimmy, but how about the rest of the guys? I mean, I know for a fact I pulled something up here. I'm going to read it out to you guys. The 49ers have activated for foul players from injury reserve: Jason Verrett, Mike McGlinchey, Javon Kinlaw, Justin School, and D. Ford. A lot of people were surprised by D. Ford. A lot of people were. So
Yeah, well, they got to activate him to cut him. So,
yeah.
But what you expect to see is you're going to expect to see a lot of Trey Lance haters, a lot of national media hanging on every minuscule movement. Any little mistake that he makes, they're going to be all over it. That's what you're going to expect to see. It's going to be a circus.
What about you, TJ?
Oh yeah. Yeah. No, Trey's definitely going to be under the microscope. I mean, he has been all off season when, they're actually watching him day to day and making throws. And you know, I think it's going to be just like anything on the internet, especially when you look at social media. Like you can't. I don't know if you guys have noticed this, but you can never get a straight like, is this good or not? Like Thor, the new Thor movie just came out. Like you go to Twitter to see what people are saying about it, and you're either seeing this is the best Marvel movie ever, it's great, and then you see this is the worst Marvel movie ever. What were they thinking? Like you just can't get a straight answer, and I think
There
that's
is
what it's
no
going
in
to be with
between.
Trey. Yeah, it's either going to be like, man, Trey looks like $1,000,000, or well, Trey missed this read and Trey missed that, and Trey, you know, threw off his back foot. Like,
That's so true, Arthur, man. That's so true, man. It is.
What you're probably also going to see is our D line kick our O line's ass, and everybody freak the hell out because they're
Yeah.
still trying to figure it out on the O line. So be cautious of that.
There
We
it
have
is.
a really deep D line. So if the O line is getting their ass kicked, it's good for them in the season because that's just more valuable reps. They're getting the work by one of probably the best D line in the entire league. So a lot of overreaction on the O line.
100%. And I know for me, I think that's our biggest question mark heading into training camp in the preseason. I know that's what I'm going to be paying attention to is what our O line does and who's lined up where, who's getting the reps.
Yep. I want to see O-line. I want to see how Trent Williams takes on that leadership role. There's so much.
Yeah.
I want to see nickel. Who ends up at nickel? If this Womack kid is that good, if Verrett gives him the nickel, and I want to see if Hufanga is the real deal at safety. So
there seems to be a lot of momentum with Hufanga. Have you noticed that over the last? I know it's been kind of slow, but people are starting to talk about Hufanga.
The coaches, I think it came from the coaches. I watched all their interviews. I watched the defensive coaches, and they're really high on this dude. Like, this guy came back. Like, you can tell he was a rookie last year, but this year he came back looking like a straight pro. Like, he looks like a starter. So, a lot of the hype's coming from the coaches' interviews. If you haven't caught them on YouTube, they're really big on this guy. So, I want to see it.
I like him a lot, and we've had this conversation, and I know Ron and I are on the same page. This guy can play, this guy can hit, just not sure about the scheme fit. That's my only question when it comes to Hufanga.
Yeah, my question mark was the coverage is like the coverage and the speed. Those are my big question marks on Hufanga.
And I wonder how much they can, you know, how much can they figure out in an off season? You know, how much can you improve on something like that?
I mean, he seems to be like a football player, so that's a good question. Is like, how much can you, like, how big of a gap can you close from one year to the other? So
and do you take this square? I feel like these are kind of redundant conversations, and we've had them when we talk about Lynch and or Shanahan and his schemes. But do you take this square peg and try and fit it into the round hole because that's what you run, or do you make him work? Do you find a place for him? You know, like there's a spot for him.
Oh yeah, without a doubt. Yeah, without a doubt. Like situations. I mean, they found it last year. You heard Jimmy Ward say, like, I thought he started more than that. He couldn't believe he didn't start as many games as he thought he did. It seemed like every time I looked over there, he was over there. So they're gonna find a place for this guy if he can play. So,
well, you have 2 down linebackers. Maybe you have a 2 down safety. You know, maybe you play him first and second down in the box against the run and put in more in the nickel package. I think the fit for him is a big nickel, but you don't want to take one of those linebackers off the field, I don't think. And that's interesting too. You know, we run 2 linebacker sets and we got three great linebackers and one that we know is not coming off the field. So who's on there the majority of the time?
yeah, well, that's why I'm so curious about nickel because it seems like more and more teams are going to the 2 linebacker with the nickel. So that's going to be a really important role. And as far as Hufanga goes, like That's one thing I like about D'Amico. It seems like his creativity for who he has on the roster is a lot better than Salah's. And even like in game and situational stuff, like you see it. So I'm excited, dude. I can't wait.
What I'm very excited about is that D line. We have a lot of D line. I'm telling you. Now, we kept about, I don't know, 11. How many guys you think we keep in a D line this year? It's just a fun thing I want to go through. That's all.
We kept what, 10 last year?
I think it was
11?
11 or 12. 11 or 12.
We're up to like 19 right now, I think.
Mm-hmm. They're having tough decisions going through that line.
Yeah.
Because we run off that defensive line a lot. That's what we depend on, our defensive line. So that D4 situation, oh my God. Man.
Nah, I'm not even worried about him. I'm more worried about like the interior, like because they got rid of DJ Jones, who is that tackle for loss guy, early penetration, and yeah, Kinlaw. We don't know about Kinlaw. Like they just picked up Mdici.
Yeah.
So we don't know.
The guy from Seacox, is he interior?
Yeah.
Yeah, he was a first round pick. He played at Ole Miss. He was pretty good in college. I mean, and then he went to the Cardinals, and they kind of ruined him.
Yeah, I think we need to figure out who's taking Key's spot.
Thank you, Todd.
Who's that other defensive end that could kick inside on nickel situations? Because I don't think Drake's that, and Touré's not that. I think it's going to fall on Hyder, honestly. So
and Omenahue.
Gosh darn it. I love Omenahue, and I always forget about him.
Yeah, he's going to surprise.
Yeah, you're right. So yeah, you're probably looking at Omenahue and Hyder that are going to be able to kick inside like Arden Key was last year. That's what made him so valuable.
Yeah, I was really a big fan of the DJ Jones role. Like that's a specific position they have out there is the DJ Jones role, like that plugger. And I want to see Hassan Ridgeway and the rookie from UCF.
Yes, that's a big boy.
Those are two dudes who are supposed to go in there and like do what DJ Jones did for us. Quick off the ball, boom, in your mouth, punch in the backfield like immediately. So that's what I want to look at. And then, if Kinlaw really is 100%, because if he is, look out, boy, him and Armstead.
Oh, my God. The bull rush and shit, man.
Boy, you a bitch.
A suck ass bitch.
Yep. Straight up.
Yeah, man. Who's the other guy? Not D Ford. The guy we just drafted this year. Drake Jackson. What do you think about him so far? You think
he's getting good reviews?
Spot? You think he'll be taking D4 spot?
That's yeah. Go ahead, TJ. Sorry.
Yeah, I think he'll be rotational. Definitely to start the season. I think you're probably looking at I know I'm going to butcher the pronunciation of his name, but Ekuban.
Yeah, I can't say it myself.
But I mean, that guy could be a surprise cut too with this depth. I mean, but he really stepped up in the playoffs and towards the end of last year. So I think he's going to be on the field most of the time, but he'll be getting relieved by Drake, I think. And then, if Drake can put it together, we'll see more Drake come second half of the season. But I think early on, he's going to be part of a rotation.
Oh yeah, we're definitely playing talk about that next week because that's when the training camp starts. I just don't know what day we start ours. That's the problem.
The 26th, right?
26 is it?
Yeah, I think so.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, cool. I definitely
Tuesday, right?
Yep.
Wednesday, isn't it? I thought Thursday was 27th. Or the 28th.
Tuesday was
I might be wrong.
Tuesday's
Tuesday. You're right. You're Tuesday. You're right. 28th would be next Thursday. That's right.
Yep.
You're right. Sorry, my bad. Yeah, that's all I got, gentlemen, tonight. I mean,
all right, man.
It's gonna be a long good. It's gonna be a weekend to just to think about it, and hopefully the training camp's gonna work out great on Tuesday.
Yep.
Oh yeah. We'll definitely have a lot more to talk about.
Oh yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Oh yes.
Hey, well, it was good to be back on, though. I missed y'all.
I
Yeah,
miss
it's
you
good to
too,
see
man.
everyone.
Yep.
Miss you all very much.
All right, man.
All right, man. You guys take it easy. All right.
Yes, sir.
All
Stay
right.
faithful.
All right, bud.
Later,
Yeah,
fellas.
bud.
Have a good one.
Later on. And I'm going to find my stuff real quick before I do it right. I don't want to mess it up like I always do. And make sure I find the right one. There you go. And that was the show. So thank you very much for watching the regular 24/7 show. It was great to be back with all the fellas. And I know Drewski never showed up, but I hope everything's okay with him. Hope he watches this. I'm sure we'll be talking in the chat and everything. Make sure he's okay. Our thoughts and everything to you, bud. Okay, we really miss you, man. Really, really do. Sorry. So basically, I'm gonna close down. I gotta pick the wifey up. I know she's waiting for me. So, and I'm gonna do good plugs now. Go catch Mav Convo with Mav Cato. That's Twitter handle. It's times on Tuesdays. All right, YouTube, IG. All right, and of course, there's that Night Life. And we talked to you earlier tonight at the beginning of the show about that show. So now I got to change that. So basically, he'll be just running off of Spotify and Twitter. All right, so I got to change that now. All right, and of course, Drewski. Go catch him on his Bias D podcast. That's the Twitter handle. Coming soon. I hope the guy gets it going. Great. And of course, give a shout out, of course, to GM Mikey. He was the first one that came in here. That's how GM Mikey. That's how, bud. We'll see you all guys next week. All right. TJ. Thanks, man. Thanks for everything, man. And of course, I'll get a shout out to, of course, 495 for UK, Paul Hope. Club 85. All right. And of course, we'll give a shout out to all the Faithful Empire. Of course, Denise. What's up, Denise? What's up, girl? Of course, Gavin. All right. And of course, I'm going to give a shout out. Definitely, I know I had him in here still. I'm going to give him a shout out. So, CarCast, New Jersey boy. New Jersey. And of course, Ashley. All right. And I know I have another one. Here you go, right here. Nick the Kingsman Welsh. All right. That's how you follow both of them on Twitter handles. All right. So, and of course, number last, Nick Cork on Shank Club NFL. That's Twitter handle at times, only on Saturdays on YouTube. All right. He did the last one he did on Sunday. So, he might be changing them up. I'm not too sure. So, basically, that's all I have for you, faithfuls. And we will be back hopefully Sunday with the Faithful Empire. All right. It'll be early for them. So it'll probably be like 6 or 5 o'clock p.m. for them. So I got to figure out the times between 12 and 1 in the afternoon for me. Hopefully we'll have one tomorrow afternoon or a little mid-afternoon, I should say. All right. And catch up all the people that are on it. Okay. Like I said, it's 1 week until training camp. And of course, the 49ers will have theirs on Tuesday. All right. Because, of course, they're 3 hours behind. I'm sure they got their days all set up. So, thank you for watching Ready to Go 24/7 show. And we will see you when we see you. All right. We're out of here. Later. Oh, I almost forgot my one thing I do. Like I always do. I don't know why I didn't forget about it. Keep the faith. Never lose hope, faithful. All right. We're out of here. Later.